Hello and welcome to Geolantis.360. In this video, we will explain how to create and customize smart forms on Geolantis.360 web portal. Then we will demonstrate how such forms can be completed or by the operators or surveyors using the Geolantis app on an Android or iOS phone or tablet. And finally, we will show how the completed or recorded forms can be displayed on the web portal and exported as a report. So the forms basically are intended to provide descriptive data concerning a specific job on site, like a construction area, for example, or even during a mapping or inspection task in the field. So to start creating or editing forms, we need to go to the form management page, which is located here under the configuration section. Please make sure that you have the correct license to be able to use the form management page. It could be the case that it's not available for users with limited access, depending on the given license or subscription. So, as we can see, we have a few preloaded templates, and we will start by explaining what options do we have here. And in general, in the top bar, we have the option to create new form or to edit an existing form or to import and export. And I will just open the list here. The first group we have here is the standard forms, and these are standalone forms which are available all the time. Whenever needed, the surveyor or the operator can just open it on the app and fill it out and submit it without a task. And the other group is a task form, which is automatically embedded in a task, as we have explained before in the task description video. So starting by standard form, for example, we can click on a form to edit it, or just simply click on the edit button, and this will take us to the editor window. So we have here on the top general information like a name and a key or a description of the form. And then we can define here the type of the form, either a standard form or a task form. I will show the difference shortly between the two types in terms of the setup. Additionally, we can here select the visibility of the form. We can choose if it's for all users or for a specific group of users. And here below, on the left side here, we have the attribute editor, which is where we can design the form questions. And on the top here, we have the option to add an attribute or create a new group like this here, which is like a title, which contains a group of questions. And we have the option to delete or sort the questions inside the form to the top, moving to the top or below. And this option also is to copy an attribute if we want to duplicate it and make a quick adjustment. And this is the option to paste a copied attribute. Here we have an option also to show how does the form look like in general after it is designed. And if I click here, it will show me a quick overview on the form, which will appear to the workers in the field. And if I select any of the attributes, I will have here on the right side some options to configure this attribute. So starting with the type, Geolantis offers several types of form attributes we can choose from, either a picker or a checklist or a username or date and type duration. There are a variety of options which we have covered in on the knowledge base and a complete guide of those attributes. Please make sure that you see the manual. We will leave the link in the description for sure. And for the attribute, we can provide also the name and the description. This option also enables the user to make a group of questions within a value container. And below here, we have the input mode. These are additional parameters depending on which type is selected. So, for example, here I have a text box. Then the input mode here allows me to define the maximum length or the default value, or if I want to have a label to this field. And below, we have more options concerning the visibility of this attribute within the form. Excuse me. We can choose if this attribute can be repeated and the value can be entered more than once. And we can choose if this attribute or question must be answered by the worker, and additional options here that we will have the full explanation on the knowledge article. Once the form is ready and I have all the attributes and the questions I need, I can simply save it. And then after the first time I save a form, I will get this warning here, which allows me to set the version of this form as productive so that it's available for the users in the field. Otherwise, it won't be accessible. We can simply close it. And as you can see here, we have a list of information about the form, which we have entered shortly, the name, the description, and if it was recorded already by some user in the field, then it shows here the last modification date, and the count column shows how many times the form was recorded, or how many instances, and the productive versions, it shows how many times the form was set available for entry, and some additional information like if it was recorded on a phone or if it was active or inactive. And this number here tells me how many attributes or questions are existing within the form. So this is quickly an overview about the form management, how to create a new form, how to edit an existing one. These templates can be easily adjusted if it meets the requirements of the customer, or new forms can be simply created as well. And if I want to search for a specific form, I can just type here three characters, which will show me the search results quickly. We will move then to the iOS app to show an example of entering or recording a form using the iOS app. And we simply need to go to the Forms module. Then we will see here a list of all the standards form, which, as we mentioned, the standalone forms, not the task forms. And if I click on one of the forms, for example, here, the site safety inspection, I will see the questions as they are configured on the web portal. Then I need to enter a project name, for example, and location. Depending on the requirements, we need to provide the answers. Here I can record date and time, and then I have a whole checklist embedded within the form. So we need to answer all the questions with yes or no or not available, and save. Then this red exclamation mark shows that I must enter these attributes, and this is simply choosing which user I am and providing a signature. Once I complete the form, then it will be saved and synchronized automatically to the web portal. Similarly, you switch then to the Android app and go into the Forms module. The numbers here shows how many standard forms are available within this list. So I will click Show to open the list and want to enter this example. And they are the same questions, but here in a different view. And the group here can be collapsed also, and we can adjust this as mentioned early in the attribute editor. So we can start by creating a group, and then within every group creating some questions. And here is the exclamation mark for entering a mandatory field, DGIS location. So yeah, a date and time, and the standard checklist. So we have to answer all the questions before completing the form, and get back to the form. So it shows me here an overview about the answered questions, how many questions were answered as yes, how many were answered as no, and how many is not available or not applicable. I will choose the user and finally provide my signature and click done so that the form is completed. Of course, we can see here a saved version of the form and then edit it again. And here a list of all the completed forms. And the same also in the iOS app. So now that we have recorded our forms in the field, we can get back to the web portal and show the results. And this we can see under the recorded forms page under the recorded data. So this page here shows me a list of all recorded forms, and we can see here they can be grouped by the form name. So every instance of the inspection form is listed here, and every instance of the site safety inspection form is listed here. The difference is that we can see here a task number because the inspection form is a task form for sure, and the site safety is a standard form or a general one, which is not embedded in a task. And here we can see that the status, of course, that it has been finished, and the creation date, the completion or the modification date. Additionally, we can see here on the right side an overview about the provided values. And more, we can edit the recorded form. And here we can see all the provided values by the user. And the signature is here. Finally, if I click on show report and choose the show the standard report, then it will load a PDF report, or I can also send it by email to any manager or any customer. So the report is already created in a few seconds, and it shows all the provided answers or values by the worker in the field. I will get back to the form management to explain the difference between the standard form and the task form. If I click any form to edit it, then we can see here the type is a task form. So if it is a standard form, then there is no more configuration required. But if it is a task form, then I will need to provide a task description, which will be listed here. And additionally, I need to specify the affected layer. So as because of it's a task form, so of course it will be dispatched to the user through an inspection for a task or a mapping task. And in this field here, we need to specify the layers or the feature classes which would be affected, and which we need them to be inspected with this particular form. So that was the difference, and that was in general the whole configuration required to create and edit forms within Geolantis. Please see the full guide about the attribute and the attributes and the attribute editor. We will provide the links in the mention. If you have in the description, please write us a short email if you have any more questions. And thanks for watching.